Audio Jungle.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Representatives from the national and international press media, Assalamu alaikum and a very good afternoon. I'm the Colonel Staff of the 20 Infantry Division of the Greenland Army. On behalf of our formation, I welcome you to this press briefing regarding the unprovoked and unjust military war imprisoned upon our nation by Wolfland. As the enemy forces have crossed our international boundary, we, the Greenland Armed Forces, along with the people of our country, are solely safeguarding our motherland. And we are here to present the facts and ongoing operation. As you all know, the Greenland has always pursued a foreign policy of peace and regional stability. Over the past decade, we concentrated on building our economy and technological infrastructure, including the inauguration of our nuclear power plant for self-sustained power distribution along the nation, and strengthening our military forces to ensure our sovereignty. However, Wolfland have grown jealousy over our rise and led to a calculated aggression. When viable oil reserves were discovered around Ramu, Wolfland immediately revived illegal and baseless territorial claims under the pretext of a faulty border demarcation, as they don't have any oil reserve and they are fully dependent on the import from countries across the world, as they don't have any oil reserve. And at present, the volatile situation at the Strait of Hormuz, which has broken their easy supply of the petroleum, and these have aggravated their false claim to capture Ramu further to ensure an economically viable oil reserve. With that context, politically and internationally, Greenland launched a robust diplomatic campaign to counter Wolfland's aggressive, unfounded claims before they erupted into full-scale war. Seeking to protect its sovereignty through peaceful dialogue, the Greenland government formally raised the issue of border violation and illegal territorial demands by Wolfland up to Ramu before prominent global and regional bodies, including the United Nations General Assembly. Through these multilateral forums, Greenland consistently exposed Wolfland's deceptive propaganda and gathered international support by highlighting its own commitment to regional stability and international law. On the other hand, Wolfland tried to manipulate the world organizations with false informations, but they miserably failed to gain international support for their evil intention. Despite Greenland's exhaustive and transparent negotiation efforts, this diplomatic mitigation ultimately faced a wall due to Wolfland's stubborn, unyielding stance, which forced Greenland to transition from international diplomacy to active military mobilization. This war was completely forced upon us. On June 17, the hostility broke out fully as Wolfland forces crossed their international boundary. They aimed to hurt our civil population by attacking power stations, airports, and logistic installations. Wolfland has completely violated all principles of international humanitarian law and the Geneva Conventions. The invading forces have unleashed heavy atrocities that target innocent civilians and local infrastructure instead of restricting themselves of military objectives. Their brutal attacks have forced thousands of Greenlanders out of their homes in the bordering regions, creating a massive humanitarian crisis. They have actively tried to jam and destroy our principal media coverage to keep the international community at dark about their crimes. They advanced aggressively with tanks and infantry. But our troops have fought with immense courage, making their advance incredibly costly. We have already thoroughly defeated enemy columns in key areas like Atpara, Dharmapasha, Kendua, and the list goes on. The Ulfland forces have faced the toughest resistance ever they could even dream. The locations I have mentioned are only our initial resistance. The actual surprise is waiting for them. While we have temporarily ceded some ground as a part of our strategic game plan and are currently fighting from the bank of the river Akhira, I assure you this territorial loss is strictly temporary. Our troops have fought with growing courage and made the advance very costly. We have already bled them substantially and we have thoroughly defeated them in all their attempts. Greenland has an iron fist and we possess the full capability to protect our nation. We have also conducted a number of successful operations by our paramilitary and unconventional forces. Our valiant sons of the soil, they have made the stay of Ulflanders very untenable. It was overwhelming seeing the number of volunteers trying to join in the reporting centers. Our unconventional warfare forces have put up a valiant fight. I must remind Ulfland 66 Corps that we shall fight you in the front, in the flank, and at the rear. However, in the process, I had to sacrifice few of my brave patriots. I pay deep homage to their departed souls and ask the rest of the nation to be determined for the sake of their martyrdom. By this time, we have already captured number of prisoners and many have surrendered to our units. Our initial investigations reveal very low morale and willpower of Ulfland forces. They have also revealed the ongoing mass destruction of their higher commanders about the justification of this war. We are treating them to the best of our abilities and the code of conduct outlined by the Geneva Convention. I am sure that by now the leadership of 66 Corps has understood that they need to take long walk to a journey to victory. I am also sure they have lost their voice with which they appeared before their general people through electronic media and promised victory which was never there. And I am sanguine that not only the world community would reject them, but also his own people will soon express their vengeance against them. To my fellow countrymen, especially to the people of Greater Rangpur, I am really overwhelmed by your support and patriotism. You are serving the best purpose of our lives. With your support, surely we would defeat the enemy at the earliest. To the international community, I want to make our position absolutely clear. While we fight fiercely to defend our motherland, the Greenland Armed Forces are strictly abiding by the law of armed conflict and all principles of international humanitarian law. Finally, unlike the invading forces, my officers and men are under strict instructions to maintain the highest ethical code during the conduct of all military operations. We are treating captured prisoners of war with the utmost dignity, providing them with necessary care and strictly following the code of conduct outlined by the Geneva Conventions. Greenland remains a civilized, peace-loving nation that was forced into this conflict, and we guarantee the world that our fight for survival will never compromise our deep respect for human rights and global laws. Our goal is simple and absolute: victory. Victory at all costs, and victory irrespective of all terror. And we are going to get that. With that, thank you very much, gentlemen.